Hello and welcome to the Selfishly podcast. My name is Seb Corvey or Sebastian Corvey. I haven't decided on what to say yet. And welcome. On today's episode of the Selfishly podcast, episode number 2, I've got a great friend of mine, someone I'm so excited to have on the podcast, Keishah Barnard. Keishah and I met back in 2011 when we were going on a school trip together, even though we were from different schools. It's a whole story. We talk about that in the podcast. We also talk a lot about travel, which I wasn't expecting. I had a plan to talk about a few other different things, but we mainly talked about travel and mental health and traveling with people and just fun stories about what we've done and where we're going, and a lot of side stories and random streams of consciousness and really interesting conversation. I'm really happy I finally got her onto the podcast, and I'm happy that you guys can finally have a listen now. Please enjoy and take it away, me. Hello and welcome to the Selfishly podcast. I'm Seb Ashton Corvey, and today I am here with my wonderful bestest friend Keishah Barnard.
Hello.
How are you going?
Great, thank you.
That's good. I'm glad to have you on here.
Yes, I'm glad to be here. I'm really excited. Yeah. I really am.
It's going to be so exciting. I wanted to talk to you because, like I said, you're a really good friend of mine. We've known each other for, it's been 7 years.
Yes.
2011.
Was it 2011?
Because
it was prior.
Yeah.
Yes, of course, that makes sense.
So to let you guys in on what's happening, sorry, I just got to check. We first met back in 2011 when we went on an American trip together.
Yeah, and so it was with school. So a lot of it, like, how did it work? Because you weren't obviously at my school.
Yeah, so we both went to different high schools. My school had the program and were like, if you want to go to America, you can have the experience of staying with an American family and going to the high school and la-di-da. Go on this trip. And so originally there was a big group of us going, but unfortunately the group wasn't big enough, so the teacher was like, I don't want to have to pay for extra seats to go on this thing.
What?
If you guys want to go, the school can join with another school and you can all just go. Literally everybody but me
I can't believe
decided that they still wanted to go. And I remember I was just so excited to be like, an American school? What the heck is that? What is that like? I want to go.
And like, that would have been part of the challenge for you to be like, okay, well, I'm just going to go with a whole random school now. Yeah. Because, I mean, I didn't have any, like, actual friends that I was going with, but I still knew them. Like, I still went to school with them. But you just came over and just joined the clan. Yeah. Because it was just you, or did we have some extras with us as well? Or were they actually a separate school? So everyone ended up dropping out, and I went to join Keishah's school, but the bigger group was like 2 other schools, I think. Yeah. It was like a mixture of a country town school and a further away town school. But yeah, that's where we had first met. Yeah. And like you said, you didn't really know any, because it was like a small group. It was probably like 10 and it was
of us.
All throughout like a few year levels. So, you know, they weren't all in my year level. Yeah. And you didn't have anyone at all.
So, well, then what about you? How did you hear about it? Did you?
I actually don't remember. No, actually, my sister, she had done it earlier. So Tegan had done it a few years earlier. Oh, okay. And so we knew it existed and it was a thing. I think I just assumed that my family like planned to be like, okay, like we're going to make sure you can do it as well. And I was actually meant to go with my friend. And so it was really exciting because we had each other and whatever, but then she couldn't afford to in the end because, you know, classic, it was a hefty time, you know, like it's America, so and so she couldn't afford to anymore, and so it was really hard because I'd planned, you know, I was like, well, hang on, like I felt like I was in your boat a bit, but I still knew people. So that's how it was. Yeah.
It was more like, oh, I don't really know anyone going, but I still want to
go
myself.
Exactly. And so it was hard because I was so excited. We were so excited together. But then, you know, she was like, I can't do this. And so it was kind of like a bit awkward because I obviously went. And then I was like, well, like, can I talk about it with you? Yeah. Like, so it was really hard to go from all that excitement to then not being like, oh, like, I'm still going, but like all that excitement's kind of gone because it didn't work out planned. But It worked out well, actually. In the
Yeah,
end
well,
for us,
good.
You know?
Good she didn't come because
thank you.
Because otherwise, who knows what would have happened.
Exactly. So yeah, but I remember, I think it was the first meeting that we all had.
In the library.
Yeah, and cause obviously, yes, that's right. So my friend, she wasn't there, obviously, and so I was like, oh, like who can I make friends with when I'm traveling? You know, like this is a bit, you know, and it's hard because, like I said, I didn't really know any of the other people. And so I remember just sitting and seeing you and was like, oh, a different face, like a different, a male, like, oh my gosh, like, Mum, I'm targeting him. And I think we like shared a few moments during the discussion, you know, because it was just some interesting people that surrounded us. So. Some
exchanged glances.
Yes.
That I think just like prepped us to both be like, oh.
You're on the same page, isn't it? Like, we're pretty cool.
On the same wavelength.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so I remember that, and then I remember leaving really excited and kind of like, oh my gosh, like, this person, like, who is he? Like, and I remember being like, okay, like, I'm excited for this trip. So, thanks.
Well, yay, awesome. Well, thank you as well, because that was actually such a fun trip.
Yes, it really was.
We ended up going to America and did all, like, the fun Disneyland and all that sort of stuff in LA before we stayed with a host family.
Yeah, in Seattle. Yeah.
Do you remember learning about your host family? Or like, were you excited for that part? Like, what was, I suppose, the part of the... Because had you travelled before?
I'd travelled before, but not... I'd been to Bali. Yes, I had been to Bali beforehand, but I hadn't been ever, like, anywhere else before.
Yeah.
So... I don't know if you remember, but I actually had like a host family issue.
I remember.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So, the infamous issue. So, I think that was really exciting. Not the issue. That was not an exciting time, but just, having the host family I remember it thinking it was going to be really cool. And it was a bit confronting because you didn't expect, you know, a whole new family.
And a completely different lifestyle.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't
so
really think about how extreme they can be until like you're in.
Yes,
like,
and then you're like, oh yeah. So, when we got there, we had like met our host families like online prior to, so we had to like fill like a form, which was the best. Can I just say, I love filling out things about myself.
Oh yeah, where it was like for them to be like, who are you best suited
like, you know,
with,
what
sort of
like
thing.
what do you like to eat and what's your like favorite band and stuff, and so they like match us up with people that they thought would be suitable. And so we had all this time beforehand to like, you know, get to know them essentially before going to like stay with them for a few days. And it wasn't actually a very long time that we stayed with them.
No, it only ended up being like a week.
Yeah.
Or
like but then that's still a pretty long time. So I guess that's pretty good.
I feel like it might have been like 10 days. If
oh,
I'm being
okay. Well, then I don't know why I'm complaining.
Because we did a few things
I think we only had 2 school days. Like, I don't know why. Like, I feel like that's...
Oh, yeah. Well, the time we were also there was when they were doing that whole, like, choir concert. So we weren't actually in any of the classes either. We only went to a few of them.
Yeah, and I had so much jet lag. I fell asleep in English class. Really? I'm not even joking. It's like, I felt like I was living, like, an American movie dream. Falling asleep in class.
Yeah.
Like, it was so bad.
You did it.
I did. I mean...
straight after that.
I know. I should be like, okay, see ya.
I remember being in a math class and... thinking, oh, we do this, but the way they're talking about it makes it seem 800 times more complicated.
Oh, really?
I don't know what it was. I think it was because they were calling it all like the really like smart math terms. Yeah. And I was just like, this is a lot. But then I realized I knew what they were talking about.
Yeah,
but
like
not specifically.
But what a boring class for you to have to do. That's a bit annoying.
I literally just sat there and I had downloaded this game, Jetpack something.
Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about.
And I remember I was just playing that the whole time, which I thought was insane because, I mean, I was just sitting there on the phone in the middle of class.
Yeah.
It was such a weird time.
We had a really weird class experience.
Yeah. You were just sleeping.
Yeah.
I was just gaming. Just casual. We got sidetracked again though. But you're saying with your host family, we had to apply. We had to submit like a questionnaire form. And so, because now I've forgotten, did you originally have someone different and you had to change?
Yes. So.
Yeah. Okay. That's what
So what happened? So, I met the girl, you know, online beforehand, and it was really great and really exciting. We got to know each other a little bit. And then we get over it. So we had the days in LA like prior to. And so this was back in like 2012.
Oh, yeah, this is now the start of 2012. Yes. January.
And so, you know, you're saying you're playing games on your phone. And I remember I just had like my iPod. Like that was the thing. Like that was all I could have. And so you couldn't access and like talk to people unless you had Wi-Fi, or like we had to go on, no, not even actually, we had to go on computers to contact in like LA at the start.
Yes.
Do you remember
gosh,
this? Yeah.
Down in the lobby.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. So we had to go onto the computers and check Facebook and stuff on that. That was our communication.
Because it wasn't as normal to have smartphones.
No, it was really
Well, I'm pretty sure I had
rare.
a BlackBerry, but I had I had an Apple, like an iPod as well.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, because I remember my iPod was like the thing that I used all the time. Super weird. Yeah. So
and now it's a part of the phone.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like,
exactly.
It's
So it would have been
there.
a lot easier. So what happened was we had just gotten home from like a big night out somewhere. And the next day we were actually flying to Seattle. Yeah, so that was the next day. And so we just wrapped up our LA start, and it might have been like 9 or 10 o'clock at night, and I went down to the lobby to check Facebook on the computer. Tough days. Yeah. And then I get on and I have a messenger from the girl I was meant to be staying with, and her mum's fallen sick, and she just outright, I can't have you tomorrow. Or at all during the host time. Like, I'm really sorry. Oh my gosh. And I was like, are you joking? I am like, what was I? 16, maybe 15. And I'm so far from home, and I'm meant to be seeing you tomorrow, and now I have no one. It was a disaster. And I remember the teacher that was with us, and she was like, if it's going to happen to anyone, I'm glad it happened to you because you can look after yourself. And I was like, are you joking? Like, get me a host family. Like, oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
So, so then luckily, one of the families had twins. I was about to say that they're the same age, but obviously they're twins. So, and so one girl who was from the other school that we'd actually gone with, she went with one of the twins, and the other twin didn't like have one. I don't think they were planning to. And the twins' mum was actually the one that organised and put everyone in there, like with their people. Yeah, so she was like really familiar with the whole thing. So she was like, we'll have her as well. So it was really cool because then I got to know this other girl from this other school back down here. But then like meet these twins as well, and it was really cool. It was just a quick change, but I think it worked out well. Like, I think it was for the best in the end. Yeah. But I never met this other girl that I was meant to see. Like, I never saw her.
That sucks.
Or anything. Yeah. I still have her on Facebook though.
Oh. I wonder what she's doing now.
I know.
Well, I wanted to go back to, because we jumped straight into the host family stuff, which we will kind of come back to. But I just wanted to talk about LA really quickly. Yeah. Because I'm wondering if you remember this. Yeah. But when we were in Disneyland, it was probably like, was Disneyland the first proper day we were there, or the second day?
I actually don't remember.
I can't really remember either. But I feel like it might have been the second or third day we were in LA, because I was still feeling, because for most of the time, I've always loved to travel and go away and stuff like that. I've always done it with my family, but I've always had an issue with like anxiety problems being away from home, or you know what I mean? And so leading up to this trip, I had never properly done school camps before, because I just like,
so you really just dove in.
Yeah,
wow.
Really. I had never done school camps because all the time in primary school, like I was just an anxious wreck of just like, you know, anxiety. Like,
exactly. Like you can't even. Just like this, how we're talking right now is exactly what
is happening in the brain, and it's just crazy. And so I had never done it because I was like, if I don't want to, I'm not going to put myself in that position.
Exactly. 100%.
But then slowly, as I was getting older, I was becoming able to like get better at managing it and stuff. And so decided to like, what an opportunity to go on. Like, I'm not going to miss out just because of my anxiety. Yeah. And then I went and still kind of like freaked out. But I remember when we were at Disneyland, full circle. We were walking, and I just felt really comfortable that I could talk to you about that.
Yes,
And I remember just having, I just remember having this super long conversation, and that's probably one of the like highlight nights. It's so funny because
I don't know if I remember it.
Oh my god, which is embarrassing. Well, you remember,
but like I remember other things. Like, there's other things that I, you know.
Yeah. Well, for me, it was because I never usually talked about it to people. So, but I was like, if I'm uncomfortable and I need
to
talk to
help.
someone.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Why don't I just like talk to someone?
Yeah.
And so, and yeah, and you, yeah, I don't know.
Well, I think like, so I'm just thinking like, it's the thing that I love is that there's all these like, you know, random memories that I have, and I'll be like, oh, like, you know, even to you, like, oh, do you remember this? And it was like a really significant moment in my life.
Yeah.
Like it would be like pinned on my like timeline, but then you wouldn't remember it, and it's like, well, why is it like it's so important to you? And I think that I like that I can't remember that because this could be a weird tangent.
I'm down. Let's go.
But like how it made you feel, and like you remember it, and you're like, it's really nice to have this chat. I feel like with like me, it's like I don't remember it because it's just like that's just what I am like.
Yeah.
Am I making sense? So it's kind of like it was really natural. Like I think you saying that, and that the fact that I don't remember it was that something that I felt natural and comfortable with
Doing.
Am I making
responding.
sense at all?
No, I do actually understand.
Because it's not like I think I'd remember it if I was like a bit like shocked, like, oh, how do I do, like,
Yeah.
how do I help? How do I respond? But
no, that makes sense because
you know what I mean?
when I think about you in the memory,
yeah,
you are just like totally cool with understanding.
Yeah,
like it
yeah.
wasn't like a big deal. Like we
Yeah.
just like, and for me, I felt like it was a big deal because I was like, we don't properly like know each other. And
Yeah,
I'm
it's
like
like,
opening
oh, it's like,
up, and it's
hello.
like, yeah, it's like,
Yeah,
what is
yeah.
this? I meant to be like this cool
Yeah.
new kid, you know?
yeah. Now I'm like, oh,
yeah,
tricked
like,
you.
oh, yeah, I'm actually so scared right now. Yeah. But
yeah.
that's so funny. Though.
Yeah.
But I understand
I'm
what
glad
you're
you
saying.
get it because I'm like, I don't know, I really like that
Yeah.
a lot because I feel like that it's just a really natural thing.
Well,
yeah.
I also hope you remember the rest of the night though, because we were with some other people and
Yeah.
we had to go meet up to see the fireworks at the Centre Main Street.
Oh yes,
And then
yes.
we ended up like being like, no, we still have time. We're here early. Let's run to the other side of the park to go on like the Splash Mountain.
Yep.
With all our bags.
And we just bought a lot of crap.
Yeah.
Like-
A lot of hats.
Yeah.
A lot of stuffed toys, presents. That's where you get them from, let's be
Yeah.
honest. But we ended up like running across,
Abandoning
Yeah.
who we were with.
yeah,
we were with
losing
other
them
people.
in the crowd.
We were like, this is so important to
Yeah,
us.
but it was.
And it was
We were literally
a
rushing.
fantastic moment.
I'm so happy. I will sometimes like randomly come across. I took a video
Yes,
of us
okay.
when we're on it, and it's just us loudly talking.
And it's dark because it's night.
You can't see anything, but you can hear us, and you can just at the end, it's just Keishah going, "Oh, I'm wet," because of the ride
It just came all in. Yeah,
splashed
yeah.
all over everything.
It was ridiculous.
That was so much fun.
Yeah, no, I remember. And then we got back and we were saturated. And the teacher was like, you guys are light, like fuming. And like you could tell that we were obviously busy on a ride. Like, but there was no denying it. Like we were like saturated.
Yeah, we hadn't
So,
just gone.
It was good.
somewhere.
It was a good time though. Definitely
was.
worth getting in trouble for.
Yeah, for sure. But so now we'll kind of jump back to the
Yeah.
host family thing. So
Yeah.
how did you end up going with all of that? Because I suppose all your expectations would have been completely changed.
Yeah. And it was really hard. So it's something that I try and remember. It's obviously such a long time ago now. And I think that, you know, in past travel experiences, because I'm the same, like wherever I am in a new country, in a new place, and, you know, I've done a fair bit of traveling every day, like even like New York is my favorite place. And every time I get there, the first day, I just feel sick to my stomach and I'm like, why am I here? Why have I done this to myself? Like anywhere, like, you know, Bali, I've been like 3 or 4 times. And even the last time I went, I did the same thing. Like, I just want to go home. I hate myself. But then the next day I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. Yeah. But I know I've had some like overseas experiences that weren't full of like happiness and excitement. And it was a real struggle for me. But it's like my brain works in a way to make sure that at the end of the day, I remember them as good.
Yeah.
So like,
yeah. No. Oh, I completely
yeah. So
understand.
like when I went to Malaysia in 2014 with my sister, I just feel like I cried a lot. And you ask her and everyone, like I did, but in my head now, like obviously I remembered like immediately after, but in my head now I have little memory of, like I know that's true, but
the sad
all my
stuff.
memories are like all the good
Oh,
things,
yeah.
like, which is, and like I really honestly couldn't really think of a bad thing unless it was something that bad happened that we joked about.
Oh yeah.
But I honestly, you know, and so I feel like going back to America, I think that could have been the case for a lot of the stuff over there.
Yeah.
Because I know it was a real struggle being with an American family that I didn't know. And I'm really I find I can be like kind of like a lonely person. Like I need to have my own time.
Personal
like,
space.
A lot. Yeah. And so it was really hard, like being like, you have to be around these people. I think that's like social anxiety,
Yeah.
which I've like worked on now, and I know when it exists. So I think it must have been apparent there. Like, it was really hard, and because they had a big family, so it was like the 2 girls, and they had 2 younger brothers, and then the mum and the dad, and then we had the other host girl with us, so I shared a room with her. So it was really like a completely different thing than, you know.
Yeah, just the one person.
Yeah.
It was, like completely different than you would expect.
Yeah, exactly.
And
so,
even
yeah.
prepared for.
Yeah,
Well, even like would be used to. Like.
Yeah, it was just exactly right. It was just, and the fact, you know, I'm really thankful that they took me in, and like so quickly, and they, you know, they'd actually made a blanket for the other host girl, you know, because they knew they had her, and they had found out like at 10 p.m. the night before, and I got in the car and they picked me up and I met them, and the mum was sitting in the back seat sewing me a blanket, so I had one too, and I still have it.
So sweet.
Yeah, and so, you know, they would have had to go to probably Walmart in the middle of the night to get like you know, like
get all the
and
stuff.
so, you know, but I know that I had like problems like with the host family, that nothing with them, but it was me, like it was just how I felt. And I know they existed. If I went through messages, I'd be able to find that, but I actually cannot remember a bad thing that happened, which is actually awesome. Yeah. So I remember all the good points, like most, you know, I remember a few things here and there where I felt a bit crappy, but so it's funny. So I think it was like it didn't meet my expectations, but like now I feel like it did.
Yeah.
Like it's really weird. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I'm kind of curious now. Do you do that for like memories of like a lot of things, or is it mainly just travel?
Well,
you know what I mean?
I think it could be a lot of things. Like I think it depends. Like it can like do it the other way as well. Yeah. Like so sometimes it's just like if I'm doing a whole thing all night and something bad happens, then I'll remember the bad thing, like, because I think, I don't know. So, but I find in, like, my first relationship, I was with someone for, like, just over 2 years, and my brain, like, I could tell when it was really helping me. Because I feel like I'm really in tune with, I have to be, with all those parts of myself. Yeah. And, you know, and for a few months after, because I'd broken up with him, so it was all, you know, on my plate. It was my decision, you know, and for a few months after, like, my brain was, like, doing everything it could to make sure I remembered the bad things. And you know, it was like, you know, that's why, like, you know, not that they were all bad, but, like, just why you did it.
Try to keep in perspective.
But then there would become times where I couldn't, like, fight that, and it would fill my brain with all these good moments and, like, everything that was good, and I couldn't remember for the life of me, like, why don't I do this? But then it would work, and it would, like, I knew when it was just fighting bad, and then I'd be like, oh, when are we now? Like, I'm back. And so I just know that it does it a lot. Yeah. But I think I've only, like, my main thing I realized, and from memories of Malaysia, really, that I know I literally would have cried every single day. Yeah. But I couldn't really, like, I don't remember that trip as, like, a bad trip. Yeah. Like, it's really weird.
No, I understand that.
Yeah.
Well, because it's so funny. I went to Malaysia in 2015 with, like, for like a photography it was
thing?
like, it was with uni. We went to a photography festival thingy.
Yes.
And the first week was like a workshop, and we like jumped right into it. And I'd never been to like Asia before. Yeah. And it was like really humid, and I'm a sooky sook, and I like so I was like, it's too hot. I'm sweating. I'm sticky, and I can't handle this. But I remember I was just so overwhelmed with like the workshop we were doing and trying to like make work and being like, oh, it's actually really good. But I was just felt like I was making crap the whole time. And so I was like frustrated, like wasn't sleeping
sweaty,
well. I was hot all the time. I was, and in hindsight I realized I wasn't in the best mental state as well. And
you don't realize you need that when you're traveling.
Yeah, exactly.
To new places. But continue.
Yeah, but it's all hindsight. You can see. You know what I mean? But I remember I actually ended up coming home early because I was just like, I can't handle this. Yeah. I can't do it. Yeah. Like I was just so like overwhelmed.
Because it was like, how long were you meant to be there?
Well, I was really only meant to be there for 2 weeks.
Yeah, but that's a long time. Like people don't realize.
Yeah, well, it was. I honestly like, because beforehand, so pretty much after we had gone to America, I became better at being able to go away. Like I was pretty fine at like traveling on my own and like. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't struggle as much with my anxiety. It was still there, and I would still, like, freak out sometimes, but I could, like, control it better now. And then had just gotten to this point, and I think maybe it was my first holiday in my first relationship going away on my own. So I think at the time, the circumstances around the trip weren't the best. And then, so going, it was already, it kind of just, it wasn't, I was hopeful that it was going to be fine.
Yeah,
But
of course.
in hindsight, it's easier to see how I didn't end up having the best time.
Yeah.
But then in saying that, I remember having a really good time.
Yeah. Like, you know that bad times existed and that it might have been hard. But like...
Yeah. But I think but the times that I did have there were good.
Yeah.
Because, even though they might have started bad. Like, I'm having thoughts of kind of making a bit of sense of it at the moment.
Yeah.
But like... Because when I was there, my friend Myra from uni, we became really close as well because I would be really sad and I'd be like, hey, I like need to have some time. Like, do you want to go for a walk? And so we'd go for a walk and we became really close like that way sort of thing.
Yeah.
And so I would like think about those because that's a good thing, obviously, that came from it.
Yeah.
But now I'm wondering, like, maybe because for ages... going away and having those trips or like just being generally anxious, like then later on now we only remember we ignore all those parts because that's always been a part of it.
Oh no, I get that.
The anxiety's always been a part of the travel.
Yeah,
so it's like that just comes with the territory.
Just,
I know that's gonna happen.
Oh, I get that.
But this other stuff is kind of
and because you can like reflect and know that it happened, but like that's not your basis of the.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's really got me thinking.
I don't even know.
I can't give you an answer
because what's it like for people to go on school camps and not even worry? Did you ever have a problem with staying away from home? Or like camps or anything?
Let's think. I don't. Well, maybe I did, but I don't know because like being so young, like, you know, I'm thinking of grade 5 and 6 camp. Like I remember the camps and I remember being like, this was a good time, but I'm like, I have a feeling that would have been a bit weird, and because that was back then, you weren't like, you didn't have your phones on you, like it wasn't like a constant contact with your parents, and I feel like that's something that I would have been uneasy with, but I don't remember that at all. But then like has my brain done that, and I'm so young I haven't recognized it, and the memory's so long ago that I can't remember that it was bad. Well, you know,
but at the same time, because it was like a school campy sort of thing, I feel like you would remember.
Well, yeah, exactly, because it's like a really important
because I remember pretty much all my camps.
Yeah, you remember, you'd be like, okay.
Yeah, because I remember being so stressed.
Sorry.
No, you go.
Were you one of those people that couldn't sleep over at other people's houses for a night?
Yeah.
Okay, so I wasn't, so maybe like that's like where it begins.
Yeah.
And like I was always pretty good. Like there was actually occasions growing up that I can remember I was like, I just felt uneasy, so, you know, I was sick and go home.
Yeah, but it wasn't often, so
so maybe that's just, you know, maybe I was fine in school camps,
and that's fine.
And because I think like I have a feeling like, well, like my dad used to take me and my sister so many places when we were younger, and my family, like mum and them, always did as well, you know, like out of state, and so I feel like we did so much, like, you know, Australia traveling, that it felt like safe, like school camps, like, oh, you've done this, you've traveled over a weekend before. Yeah. Whereas like this was like the next step. Yeah. So maybe, I don't know. I'm trying to like work myself out even more.
This is gonna be a super like psychoanalytical.
Yeah, exactly.
Can I understand the little things now? I don't even know. So, I suppose going back to the Camp America, I suppose now, afterwards, did that, because you love to travel now. Yep. Did that have was that one of the things that helped make a big impression of you wanting to travel overseas, or had you always really wanted to do the America stuff? And
I don't know what it was like.
Because you said you had traveled a bit with your parents.
Yeah.
Or your family to your your family to Bali and that.
Yes. So we'd been once before, and then we went to America with you. And did I go somewhere? And then we went. There must have been some time between that we went somewhere else. So I think it's just like almost like the culture of my family. I don't know. I think because, you know, my older sister traveled, like Tegan would travel. Yeah. And it was just encouraged. So I don't know. I think that's just
to see the world and get out there.
And it was just obtainable. And you know, I think like all the films I'd watch, I was like obsessed with that, and just the idea of being somewhere not here.
Yeah.
Like that was the fantasy.
Yeah.
And it still is. Like,
yeah.
you know.
Yeah. Because you love New York.
Yeah, and I don't know where. Well, actually, that wasn't like something that I grew up as like with. Like Steve, my stepdad, is like loves New York, and he, you know, I remember times him telling me that he loved it, and I was like, oh, that's great. You know, I haven't been, and then just like suddenly, I just was dreaming about the Statue of Liberty all the time. It was, yeah, and it just came out of nowhere, because it wasn't like I watched a movie and I was like, oh, I love New York. Like, I don't know where that came. Like, I haven't always been like that.
Wow.
And so the first time I went was in 2016 in October. And so, like, it might have been like a year prior. I just was dreaming of the Statue of Liberty like every week, and every dream she was just out of reach every single time. It was just a bizarre period of my life. Yeah. So like I remember one time I was on like an island and I saw the Statue of Liberty, but she was really small and like kind of like pudgy, and I was like, oh, this is weird. And then I kept walking and then I saw like another form of her, and so they were all like Statue of Liberties, but they were all like fake ones. Yeah. And there was times when I was, you know, on the beach and I could see her like miles and miles and miles away, and I would try and swim to her and I just couldn't. Like, just so many weird dreams of her. Like, just, like, it's really weird. And so then I just grew this, like need. Like, I need to see her. Like, this is ridiculous. And then when I got to America, I didn't see her from the plane, but we went to the Rockefeller Center and I could see her, and she was tiny. Like, she was, like, just tiny. I only saw her because I was hunting, so I put in the quarter and looked at her through the telescope. And so every time it was just like on the fourth time, which was when we actually went over, I had seen her like clearly. So it was just like the biggest build up, and it was just really weird. And I don't know where all the love,
where that came from.
Where it came from, yeah. Like it just, my subconscious was just like, "Oh, you're gonna go."
That's
like,
wild.
yeah. So it's really interesting. Like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
You know?
I wonder where that came from.
Yeah. Like, and it's just I don't understand, because. Yeah, exactly. It just came from nowhere. And so even now, like, you know, I think I recognized when I was over there, especially the first time for 2 weeks, and I was just did like a small Kentucky for 4 days, and then I met some friends when I was there. But on the days where I was on my own, it was really hard because I was where I wanted to be, but I was like, I don't have anyone here with me right now. Yeah. Like, but you know. And so when I had those days, you know, I had a day where it was a Sunday and I was really sad. I just was, you know, even in New York City, it can be sad. Like, it's true. Completely. And so I just went to the movies and I watched a movie, and it was so great. The popcorn was so buttery.
What did you watch?
I watched that one, and she's on the train. And she doesn't.
The girl on the train.
Yeah.
Emily Blunt. I love that movie. Yes. I also love that.
Wow, I can't believe I did not remember what it was
It's such a
called.
good movie, though. Yeah. That is a good movie to see.
It was great. And just New York City, and like, and I think it just kind of
it
made
would have
me...
set the mood as well.
Yeah.
Because that's a very, like,
exactly.
dark, moody... She goes to New York and
exactly.
drinks in the streets.
It was great. And I felt like it was nice because I was, like, at home, like this movies are, like, my happy place. Like, if I'm sad, that's where I'll go. Yeah. So it's, like, funny that I'm in New York. And I think it kind of then made me realize, like, you are exactly where you want to be right now, and you're still sad, and that's fine. Like, you can be sad anywhere, but it's just better to be sad in New York than sad here.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. At least just somewhere different.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
No, I love that.
I
had like the same experience. Oh my gosh! So I went there in June.
Yep.
In 2014 during the summer.
Yeah.
And I was just sad as well.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly. I had the chance to meet a few people there.
Yeah.
And like those days were really fun, but sometimes I remember one day it was pouring with rain, but it was humid, and I was like, I'm sticky. Oh. I'll go to the movies. I went and saw How to Train Your Dragon 3. And I also saw...
Wait.
Yeah. And
what?
No, I saw Edge of Tomorrow. Oh. What am I... When did I see... When did that come out? Because that came out not long ago. I saw one of them. I'm going to cut this. But I had done the same thing, but I had gone and seen Edge of Tomorrow.
Yeah.
For some reason, I thought I had seen How to Train Your Dragon 3 because they're obviously
easily
the same.
Mixed up. Yeah.
But
is that the one with Emily Blunt?
Yeah.
Yes.
Emily Blunt and Tom Cruise.
We both saw an Emily
so
Blunt
crazy.
movie. Wait, does mine have Emily Blunt?
Yeah.
Oh, that
She's
is amazing.
A great actress.
Brilliant.
As well. Quick side note. She needs to play the Invisible Woman along with John Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic in the MCU because they're married and
he's just too much.
Exactly. They're both just beautiful people.
Yeah.
Anyway. But yeah, I would just find myself getting in these slumps of sadness.
Yep.
There. I don't know why either.
It's
Maybe
really
that's just the type of people we kind of are.
Yeah, I think it's really fun.
Well,
I think, I mean, like, and because I feel like I've had that wherever I've gone. Maybe, were you on your own when you were sad?
Yeah.
Maybe it was just because we wanted to be with each other in New York.
You know what, maybe.
Like, because that was the biggest thing for me. Like, I remember the first day and I just had seen everything and I sat in Central Park and I was like, this is incredible. But I was filled with so much sadness. I just wanted to cry because I was like, I can't share these moments with anyone. Because I just had the best time and I can't, like, be like to anyone, hey, remember that first time in New York together? Yeah. Like, my first time, like, you're finally being there. Yeah.
Well,
so.
Have you travelled much? Was it on your own? Was that one of your first times? Or
yeah, so that was on my own.
Since then, have you travelled much on your own?
So at the start of 2016, I went on the family cruise, and then I went. Maybe I didn't. I think the cruise might have been later, because I went on a Bali trip. That must have been the start of 2016. That was with a friend who who created a trip differently than I expected it to be. So we just went to Bali, and I thought we'd kind of do lots of things together, but he just wanted to hang out by the pool, which is like, whatever, do what you want.
Just different
but
styles.
I just didn't expect that, and it, you know, I knew that I would feel a bit stressed being there on my own, so that was like a common thing. So it was really hard, like, because then he stayed at the hotel and then I went out and walked about and I made sure I was home by midnight, before dark, actually, because I was like, I didn't feel safe. And the one time that I wasn't, a taxi driver was really gross. So it was just like really annoying. I was like, thanks for confirming that my one, like, whatever. Oh. So super annoying. But I like did it and I felt like I was on this trip on my own, and, you know, I would come home and like he wouldn't really ask me like what I'd done or anything. And when I finished that, I was like, you can do anything. Like, you just did a trip on your own without meaning to. And then it was after that like, when you can go to New York on your own. Like, you can do that because you're actually capable of it. So it was a blessing that I kind of went with him because I could learn that about myself. Yeah. And so then I went to Chicago the year after, which was on my own, but I met a friend over there. And then I went to Bali with my family, and then just last year I went to America with a girlfriend. And so, like, weighing up, like, if I think it's better for me to travel on my own or with someone, even though I'm so sad when I'm alone, I feel like on my own was my way. Like, I think that's, I'm really, like, I feel, like, safe. And, you know, even when I went last year with a girl who usually travels with people, she, you know, was really concerned for my safety, which was really nice, but it was just really weird because I was like, I've done this before. Yeah. It's just like, it'd be like me walking around here at home, but I'm just somewhere else. Yeah. Like, so I just feel like the lonesome's really the best. But I've always dreamed of traveling with a partner. Yeah. So just waiting on that when you're ready, Jay.
Well, soon, hopefully.
I know, right? So, yeah, it's really weird.
Yeah. I feel like I can't decide. I think when I think about it now, the idea of traveling on my own, I like because I know I can do what I want, when I want, see what I want. You know what I mean? Yep. In saying that, though, last year I went to Europe with my cousin. Yep. And it was so good having her there with me as like a support sort of thing.
And I reckon it depends on who it is that you're with. Exactly. Like, yeah, I think it really depends because I feel like I really transform myself around other people. So, you know, there's some people that I'm not really real with. Like, I don't know if everyone does that. If everyone's a bit different around everyone.
I can understand that.
Yeah, and so,
It's kind of, I remember in year 8, year 7, I was walking with my sister Sarah home from school, and I remember asking her, hey, do you, just say you go up to different people, do you sort of like subconsciously know the best way to act around them for them to be happy, sort of thing.
Oh my God.
And
Wow.
And she goes, no, only fake people do that. And I was just like,
You just said exactly what I feel I do.
Because that's what I feel like. I don't even think I do it on purpose.
Yeah.
It's just like those are the qualities that come out
yes.
around those sorts of people.
Oh my God. So not everyone's like that.
I feel like we're just the same.
That is so weird because I don't think people are like, people have like their beliefs and they're like this and this, and whereas I'm like, I can be like persuaded or like,
Well, it's like
I'll use different language.
I remember, I would say when I was younger, it was really easy to like do essentially what I just said we were doing.
Yeah.
But and be like swayed easier, whereas like now it's like this is what I think, but I'm still gonna listen to what you have to say, and if I can like understand what you're saying, then I'll be good with it. But like otherwise, I'm like, I don't really know.
Oh my God,
maybe that's not the best way to say that.
No,
but
but I know what you mean because whereas I don't know if we're thinking the same thing. Like I'm just like, if I have my opinion, but then you share something with me, and I'm like, oh my God, no, you're right. Like I could take that on board.
Yeah, well,
but some people aren't. They're like, no, this is my opinion. I don't really care, and I'm like, I'm a people pleaser. I'll hear what you want to say, and I will make sure you're happy with my response.
Yeah. And I think it's really easy to be like, I'm not a people pleaser. But then when I really think about it, I remember, well, even my mum and dad, and like, so I'm the youngest of 3. Right? That's how you say it? Yeah.
I was just like the same thing, and I was like, no, you're right.
Does that make sense?
Youngest of 3,
Yeah, the youngest of 3. So I have 2 older sisters. And they would always say that I would never have to say anything because Steph or Sarah or mum or whoever would decide for me. So then it was more just like, I suppose, a built-in compliance.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
You know, and so it's like you don't even realize you're properly doing it. But then it's like, but then it's at the moment I'm trying to be really like conscious of the things I do and like how I act.
That's a good idea.
Actually. So I'm trying to like acknowledge when I'm slipping into that, like, because I still do it. I would be lying if I said I didn't.
Well, that's so true. And even back to my trip last year when I went with someone, and I feel like I learned a lot. Like I felt like I had to be more stern with like who I was. Yeah. Like that's what I got from the trip. Like I left and I felt really more like a lot more confident and stronger in my beliefs of whatever it is. Yeah. Like
I think like traveling alone kind of helps.
Yeah.
That as well. Because you kind of like, because I remember there was a few times after camp, I had came home early and went back to Europe for a 3-week holiday. On my own. I was going to catch up with a few people I met at camp and stuff, but I was going back on my own. And it was really like, there were some days like we were talking about, it gets really sad. There was one day where I was in Pisa and I had traveled from Rome there, and I was just so sad for whatever reason. Yeah. I had bought Gone Girl, the book, because I saw the movie and loved it. And
I just watched it the other day. It's so good. Amazing. I mean, I've seen it before, please.
Yeah. But to see it again, it's great. Side note again, the author, I can't remember her name. It's gonna kill me.
I was just looking at that as well.
Like, she Gillian.
Oh yeah, something. You got.
I was on the way, halfway there.
Yeah.
But she wrote Gone Girl, and she also did Sharp Objects. It's a TV show. I just binged it. It's amazing.
Get on it.
Watch it.
Okay.
And she also did a book called Dark Places, and that's a movie.
Oh.
And I'm pretty sure it's got Charlize Theron in it. I haven't seen that though, but I really want to.
So it's like it'd be the same like.
It's all like that same sort of tone. Like Sharp Objects is like about a journalist who has to go back to a small town because like 2 girls have died or gone missing, and then she has to like figure it all out. And it's really intense.
Yes, I love that.
Really good.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Okay, thank you.
But anyways, back to what we were saying.
Yeah.
I bought the book and just read it. I read it in 2 days because I was just in that mood of like, I was just, obviously I think I was just depressed.
Yeah.
And so I was just like, I'm not doing anything properly. I had left my room to go see the tower and walk through a little market. But then I went back after an hour and just kept reading.
And you were like, this is what I want to do.
Yeah. And just like spent the next the day after as well, just reading.
Yeah.
And it was, and then I ended up feeling better afterwards. I honestly don't know where the funk came from, but I kind of got lost of what I was saying, but I remember it was doing those things and being able to spend that kind of quality time with myself, that helped me like realize, like made me comfortable with being on my own. Because I think for so long I was always afraid of being alone and lonely. Like I've really like struggled with loneliness and stuff. So I think finally being able to get to a point to try and like be like, no, I like to go to the movies on my own and see something, or I'm able to sit down at a restaurant and have a meal on my own.
Exactly. Like,
and be fine with it. Yeah. Which is something I really appreciate. Yeah. From traveling alone, I suppose.
Yeah, exactly. You know, you totally, that's really accurate.
But that I think also helps with being able to like understand your perspective and maybe point of view on certain things. Yeah. Because I definitely find now, depending on the situation, I'm more comfortable with like speaking up if I disagree or doing sort of, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's all a progress and it's a journey, obviously, but
tough one.
Hey.
And I've been recently, thinking like about like confidence, and I'm like, things are so much more easier when you're just confident. And I'm studying teaching, and I'm just like, that's something I just really want to get out when I'm teaching children, because like all through my like childhood I just was never confident. I just always just felt really like stressed, like people judging me or people this and that. But now I just feel really confident in what I want to say and what I want to do, and even when I'm just, you know, if I'm having a bad day or whatever in any sense, I'm just like, but I feel confident. And I just really, I don't know, I just really like learned that recently. I just really want everyone to just be confident. Yeah. Like, because it's such a happier and better and stronger place to be in. Yeah. And you can just do anything when you're confident.
Yeah. Well, it's hard because I totally get what you're saying. I remember in third year uni, we had to do a lot of presentations in front of people. Yeah. And even in second year, I didn't do it as much in third year. And we watched a TED talk, and it was about someone talking about how to exude confidence or how to do better at like public speaking. Yeah. And they were saying it's all about your body language and your mindset. And she was just talking about these different ways that you could be like, okay, I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm talking about. Yeah. All I have to do is explain that. Yeah. And they said that in a more like easier way to understand.
Yeah, for sure.
But it really, just like little things like that really help. Yeah, but it's like, it's always such like a push and pull, because it's weird because it can get comfortable to fall into that like fear sort of thing. Yeah. And just be like, oh, well, I'm not going to do it then.
Yeah, exactly. It's just much easier.
Yeah, but then it's like, but also being able to realize that there's no really like long-lasting like effects of like if something happened, you know what I mean?
I don't know. I think that I've just recently adopted like, at the end of the day, it just doesn't matter. Yeah. Like, yeah. And I you know, I think everyone's, you know, everyone judges everyone, and I'm like, no matter what I do ever, I'm going to be judged or disliked by at least one person. So it like doesn't matter. Yeah. Like, then just do what you want to do, because, you know, and I always compliment what people are wearing, or I'm really friendly to strangers, and I know some people that I'm with, I know they find it a bit like, oh, it's a bit weird, and I'm like, but oh well. Yeah. Like, I don't know, like it's just this whole like, it doesn't matter. Things just don't matter. Like, do happy things because it doesn't matter.
No,
like,
I understand that. Because it's sort of just, I remember I had like a mini epiphany, and I was just like, when I see something strange, or that I think is strange or whatever, and in my mind go, oh, what is that person doing? Or, you know what I mean? In my mind, that happens, and then I move on with the day.
Exactly.
But for some reason, when I think other people are doing it to me, I'm just like, oh my God, what's happening? My day is ruined.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? And then, but for them, they don't even, you know what I mean? It's like a split second thing.
Exactly.
It's sort of one of those things of like, what's the point in putting in so much energy into a 5-second thought someone else had that they're not even going to worry about for the rest of the day? And why let that spoil your own mood?
Exactly. Like, you might not even know that they've thought that.
Why does that even exactly?
Like,
yeah, and why does it really matter?
Exactly, and
they
like,
think
you
I'm
know,
crazy.
even if the thing is like, I've just learnt to be like, well, just dress like, wear what you want, do what you want. Like, if I leave the house and I feel really comfortable and great in what I'm wearing, but I'm walking past everyone, everyone's like, what are you doing? Like, I won't know and I won't care because I feel really good. But if I walk out and I'm wearing a shirt that I hate, I will spend the whole day thinking everyone else hates that shirt.
Yeah.
So it's like, if you think something's a bit weird, like, but you feel happy and confident in that, then do that because, like, it doesn't matter. Yeah. I don't know. All I can keep saying is it doesn't matter.
No, but that's like the easiest way to say it, because it's like other people have okay. When I want to hang out with my friends, or even organize a dinner with a few people, it's so hard because everyone has so much going on in their own lives. Yeah. Just think that for everybody in all aspects of like, okay, they can think something, but they've got 100 other things probably happening that we obviously would never even know about. Yeah. So, and what's that? It doesn't physically hurt you. Yeah. It's so weird to say because I think when I was younger, I must have always just been afraid of like, because, well, I mean, maybe a little context. I've never broken a bone. I've never like really been severely injured. Yep. So physical pain kind of freaks me out sometimes. Yep. But now I'm at a point where I'm like, no one's really ever gonna like hit me or punch me in the face like for no reason down the street. Yeah. Like, you know, if I'm wearing if something that exactly like whatever. Like, you know, like it's hard to like talk about in like, because it's generalization-y sort of thing, but it's sort of just like that, like they're gonna have a bad opinion of me or something. Yeah. But that's it. I'm not gonna be like yeah, it's not like you're like, yeah, I totally know exactly what you're saying. Yeah. Yeah. It's so confusing. Like if you go to the shops in your pajamas at 1 p.m. on a Saturday, there's no like consequence for that. Yeah. Apart from judging eyes, maybe. Yeah. Yeah. And then, maybe some laughs, but like you're not gonna walk out with a black eye. Like, you know? Exactly. And it's like, then you just have to get to that point where it's like, okay, well, I'm just not going to care about like, the judging looks or anything. Yeah, and as long as you're not like causing actual harm to anyone else, then just do what you want. Yeah, exactly. I think that's probably the main thing. Because I just think, all I think of it, because I've always said, if it makes you happy, just do it. But then I always think about like serial killers, and I'm like, don't do that though. Like, yeah, like as long as you're not causing harm to anyone. Yeah. But then look out for yourself. So it's really touchy. As long as you're not injuring yourself, anyone around you. Is that fine? I think, but then like, what if you have to sacrifice something to make sure you're okay? Oh. Yeah, like then it gets difficult. But just use your brain. Yeah. But thinking. People have different moral compasses. Yeah, so you just deal with that. How you think suits. Yeah. Would your mother be happy with you doing that? But then, oh wow, that's a. But then some people might be. Yeah, well, exactly. But that's not a. Say, I don't know. There's too. You need lots of terms and conditions. Yeah, at the bottom of the statement. No wonder. Well, that's funny because I was just like, imagine being the people who put together those, like the law. Or, like, those things that we have to follow. But what actually is really interesting that I saw a couple months ago, but it just made me think of, and you know, social media is my favorite thing to talk about. It's not my favorite thing, but I like to talk about it. Yeah. It was the people who ran Twitter's like terms and conditions. Yeah. And they were talking about, they were on a podcast with Joe Rogan. Yep. And they were talking about how they like make the rules for like what people can talk about, what you can't talk about, and all those sorts of things. Oh my gosh, yeah. And it was really interesting. He had a discussion with those Twitter heads, and then someone on the opposite side of being like a conservative political person. Yeah. They were talking about like just how it's hard to make rules when it's leaning towards a certain set of beliefs, I suppose you'd say. Yep. But it was all just a really interesting conversation. Yeah. But it made me think how hard that must be. Especially when it's something like social media or a social media platform like Twitter, which is like privatized as well. So it's a private company. It's like people with their general beliefs and like different morals, how can we expect like a group of people to but at the same time we've done that in the past. But I think for me it kind of feels a bit different with social media, because social media it's not just Australia or it's just like America. It's everyone's spliced, like every other culture put together. So it's all religions, all cultures, everything. All beliefs, like sexual, you know what I'm trying to say? Yeah. How can we even expect to like figure out exactly, because rules for everyone to go by?
And I know. Yes.
Without,
and I don't know how to answer that at all. Yeah. There's nothing I can say. Just like, you're right.
Yeah, I just thought it was a really interesting thing that's happening now.
Yeah.
Because like we were saying at the beginning, how in the hotel you had to go down to the lobby and sit on the computer, whereas now it's all just on our phone. Or,
you're just laying in bed and there you
it's
go.
everywhere.
Yeah.
It's so different now.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and because it hasn't really happened before, how do
it's
we
not like it's an
make rules for that?
experience thing. Like,
because
that's tough.
Because it's like people from different countries who are all underneath different sets of laws, and different things are obviously legal in different places. Yeah. So then you kind of have to like, I don't know, do you ignore those, or do you have to, I suppose, because the internet's not a place, it doesn't abide by. See, I don't know how it all works. But it's the thing that like runs our lives at the minute. Like everything I saw an article and it was talking about the Baltimore City in America, where Hairspray was done.
Brilliant.
That is currently under like cyber terrorism. It's like held hostage, like their online system, so people can't pay their bills and stuff like that. I'm not sure if it's still happening. I know, but that's imagine how actual of an inconvenience that is.
Yeah.
So like, what public transport systems would probably be like?
Oh my gosh.
Like all the scheduling stuff, like people getting payment. I don't know.
Like
know.
how
taxes,
the degree.
like,
like so why do they like who's done that and why? Like
I think it's just hackers.
It's just like
people who learn how to do it.
Yeah, and they're just like suffer.
I remember there was a guy in high school who like he just like taught himself how to get into like the intranet, like the school's intranet thing. Incredible. How wild, but it's how wild though. Like people are teaching themselves to do things. But now we are like completely relying on these systems.
Yeah, that's.
So it's like really. I don't know. It's just hard. It's not hard. It's kind of scary, right?
Yeah, no, scary. Like that's gonna be the only word I can think of that suits, because it is really scary. Yeah. And then like it just keeps going, and then I don't know. I don't know.
That's a story. No?
Yeah, that's too much.
Yeah. Okay, so we just had a little break because of the tangent we went on. Kind of went a bit too crazy.
Classic.
But I still want to talk about different types of like the traveling and everything you've done. And you had mentioned that you had done a Kentucky with New York.
Yes.
With the New York. In New York.
And that was only 4 days. That one.
Did you like it? Did you ever think?
I loved it.
Did you ever think you would do a Kentucky?
Well.
Or how did you hear about it?
So I think because I had planned to go, and I was like, I think it was actually a last minute sale, because I only booked like 2 months before I went, and it was like Kentucky had like a last minute sale, and so it was like $800 instead of like $1,000 or something, just for the 4 days.
True.
And yeah, but it was. So I think that was just kind of like a thing, so that I had friends, I knew what I was doing, and it was. I spent one night there. And then the next day I did the Kentucky. And we did so much in that space of time. Like, it was incredible. Like, there's no way that I could have just done it on my own. Like, we just smashed it out. Like, it was really cool.
Did you, like, stay in Manhattan for it?
Yeah, we stayed we stayed on 10th, and we were pretty close to Times Square. Yeah. It was, like, 2 blocks down from the M&M world.
Oh,
yeah,
awesome.
Or like maybe 3 or 4.
Yeah.
But it was,
it was
close. So yeah, it was really cool. And I think like now it's constantly on my agenda. Like now I'm always like, or every week I'll look on Kentucky and Top Deck. And so last year I did Top Deck, which was for 18 days, I think, in America. And so that was like a better experience because it was longer.
Yeah.
So when I did my 4-day one in New York, that was just like the start of almost everyone else's trip.
Oh,
so then they continued on. So I made all these friends, but then they like made more friends because they were like, you know, yeah. So whereas like, you know, I'm like, I'm just back here, guys. Don't worry about me. But then with Top Deck, because we were all together the whole time, then I made friends like that I'll visit and that I see and stuff. So I think that's kind of pushed it more. But I don't know how Top Deck actually had a sale, and the girl who I went with, she actually asked me if we wanted to go on one. And so then I was like, okay, like, sure. Yeah. And so it wasn't really like, that was 2016 and that 2018 last year. So it hadn't really been like a thing that, but now I'm like, because just have that effect of the 3-week travel with all those people, meeting all those friends and stuff. So now I'm constantly again. Yeah. Well, it's the best.
Do you think you would like, because do you think you would travel alone again, or do you think you would do it with a partner or a Kentucky instead?
Well, so ideally I'd love to do it with a partner. So I feel like I'm picky with who I want to see and in my moods, and it depends, and so with Jay, so my partner would be great because I'd be me, how we say we change ourselves a bit, like I'll be completely me there. So that's, no pressure. And it's good because I'd still do something with him, but then I'd like to do like a Top Deck as well. We can make friends, but I wouldn't feel like I have to be with him the whole time. Yeah. Which I'd felt before, like on other trips. So it's just like having that balance. So it's something that, I'm looking at going to Bali even just on my own because I just know Bali. I feel like I wouldn't have too much of those crazy sad days. Yeah. So I'm looking at doing that on my own because I know it, but I just want to see everything with Jay, and because it's cheaper as well. Yeah, it's much cheaper. But then I also would do another even a G Adventures, which is like a bit cheaper and smaller groups, traveling on my own. So it's just opened this whole realm up. Yeah. And I've actually on these Facebook pages, just an FYI for you, if you have a passion about things, which you obviously do, there's I don't know if everyone knew, but there's a group on Facebook for everything that you could ever want. I'm on resin groups with thousands of people around the world, and I'm on this solo female travel groups, and I'm on this host a sister group where they it's all women all around the world, and you can be a host or a guest. And so there's someone that's in Zimbabwe, and I'm a host, I really I can have 4 people here for 2 months in this time period, and then you just go and anyway, so it's just there's so many more options now. Just through Facebook. Yeah. So, and I was looking at Thailand for ages. So I joined this big Thailand group, full of Aussies and people around the world that like Thailand and go to Thailand all the time. And so I just learned all these things on there. And so I just feel comfortable. If I went to Bali on my own, I would get onto one of these girl groups and be like, hey, I'm in Bali for this week. Is anyone going to be there? Do you want to catch up? And I just have that confidence to catch up with people. So there's just so many options now.
Yeah.
I feel like it's limited. Yeah, which is great. It's perfect. Yeah. So
one of the good things about social media.
Yeah, exactly. There's actually something, turns out.
That's really cool.
So yeah, literally anything that you think. I'm actually obsessed now. Facebook groups are the reason I go on Facebook now. Just because it's just everything. It's great. So yeah. I don't know if I went on a tangent there or not, or if that was what you asked.
It was both.
Okay, great. You're welcome.
I wanted a tangent, and you answered my question.
Yeah, great.
It's funny because I originally was always against Kentucky.
Yeah.
And
I've heard people like that.
It wasn't anything specifically against the company, but I just assumed I wouldn't have a great time.
Wouldn't work, yeah.
Because I like to do what I want to do and see what I want, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I honestly never had much of an intention. And I was always what if there's someone on there I don't like? And sort of thing. But I suppose thinking about now, our the trip we met on and did together was kind of a mini Kentucky, I suppose, without all the partying. It was
so accurate. And we were just chauffeured everywhere. The best thing is because I feel I'm a bit of a freak when I go places. I'm the one in charge. I'm the one that knows where to walk. Yeah. I know this, I know that. And for the first time ever, I could go somewhere and I was like, I don't give a damn.
I don't have to
like,
worry.
yeah, like
They're
you're all
handling
in
it.
charge. Like
Yeah.
you take me where I need to be. Tell me the times, where it is, and I'll be there. Like,
Yeah.
I think it was nice to do
That's
that.
no, I agree.
Yeah.
Like because I was always so against it.
Yeah.
I ended up actually, my cousin and I, Jess, we went to Europe together, and which I think I already have mentioned on
Yes.
this podcast.
We get it.
Yeah. I just love traveling. No. But yeah, we went to Europe together, and she really wanted to go do a Kentucky, just to, whack out as much and see as much as you can.
because that's the thing. You want to see everything.
You don't go overseas all the time.
Yeah.
Like, and so at first I was like, oh, I'm not sure, but we ended up compromising because I was like, I don't want to be on one that's like really intense. It goes for ages.
Yep.
But we ended up finding like a 10-day one. And it was really good.
Yeah, you were happy with it?
I was
Yeah.
like really happy with it. Sometimes, so I was just thinking, I was really happy with it. There was sometimes just me being me.
Yep.
Was just like a sook in the moment.
Yeah.
Like one day I wasn't convinced, but the sun hadn't set for probably 14 hours. It was bright for so long. And I was just like, I was like really exhausted. It was super hot.
And just like,
and the sun
go
felt
down,
like it was up the whole day. And because here in Australia, it literally gets dark at like 5:30. Like, or
exactly.
6 o'clock now.
For most of the year.
Especially in winter.
Is that right? Most of the year
yeah.
it's like that?
Oh, no. Oh, I don't
or
think
is it like
most of the
actually
year.
even?
I'm honestly not sure. I know for winter, because it's winter at the moment, it gets dark at like 5:45.
Yeah, like
5.
something dumb.
So really early. And in Europe, because it's summer at the moment,
Yeah.
it doesn't, it's like daylight savings.
Does it get dark at 9 or is it later than 9?
It's like 9. Maybe. I'm pretty sure. I honestly couldn't properly like
it
give
seems
you
like it could have been
definitive answer.
all
But
24 hours.
I remember looking at the clock one time. It was like 8:30 and it looked like the middle of the day.
You're like, I'm done. I
I was
need
like,
to
I need
clock
to
off.
go to bed. I need to sleep. I like the nighttime.
Yep.
But I mean, that's tangent. That besides the point.
Yep.
I actually really enjoyed it, and I was
Yeah.
worried about the people,
Yep.
and pretty much everybody was really nice.
It's
Everyone,
really weird.
yeah,
Because
everyone-
they are. Like,
yeah.
I think,
I
like,
don't know what I kind of expected.
Yeah.
I think I was just expecting the worst.
and which is, because I think we do that.
Yeah.
To prepare.
Yeah,
Jake.
true.
So when it's really good, it's like, oh, thank God. But
Yeah.
if it was bad, you can be like, well, I expected this.
yeah,
You know?
yeah, I was prepared.
Like, I think that, we all make friends like through school, and so like most of my friends are people that I've met or even met through like phases in my life, and to meet people that have no connection to anyone here, and they don't know anything, they just know me for who I am, like in that, like right now in that exact moment, like wherever we are, like that was the best, and everyone was just welcome, like everyone wanted to be friends with everyone, like. And throughout my trip, which seemed like 5 months, and it was like 2 or 3 weeks or whatever, it was just like every few days I was better friends with someone else. And so it was really cool because everyone was just, I don't know, they weren't like, oh, you're the one that in school this, or, this and that, or I know that you've done this, or there was just nothing. It's so much nicer.
It seemed just like most people were open to being there, and like the people they were gonna meet.
Yeah.
And
there was no like, I don't know, there's just not like, there's no bullying or groups or, I mean, there was small groups, but everyone was still like happy to be friends with everyone.
Yeah. No, I understand that. It's sort of like a school group sort of thing.
Yeah,
it's like everyone, like,
exactly.
You have the ones you're close to, and then there's like your acquaintances.
Yeah.
But you can still get along with.
Yeah, it's just like the weirdest, and then it's such a short time. And it's like some people don't understand that. Like, when I got back from my trip, I think 7-14, maybe it was just over 2 weeks, and telling my boyfriend about it, and he was like, you're not gonna be friends with them forever. Like, you weren't with them for very long. But then he eventually realized, like, it's a long time.
Yeah.
Like,
and well, especially when you're in a completely new place.
Yeah.
And, like, I'm actually going to America at the end of the year, and I'm seeing some of the girls who I met on Kentucky going to Grand Canyon. So that would be lots of fun.
Oh my gosh.
And one of the people, Gemma,
Yeah.
who I love, we met on the Kentucky too with
Yeah.
Jess, and she lives like up in Chadston.
Yeah, like,
I-
it's
Like,
How bizarre.
Yeah, like super close. And we're going out for lunch, dinner.
Yeah.
Like in a couple of weeks.
I was going to say, like, now, so you better get going.
I gotta get out of here. No. But it's just finding, I think I really liked, which is funny because I was always, like I said, I was always worried about the people it's going to meet. But I think the people are the part I also get excited about because I like meeting new people.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, it's just like a whole new opportunity.
Yeah.
Like, it's like the weirdest thing. But like, because I'm like wanting to do a G Adventures and the groups are small. So like, we were with like 30 or 40 people. And so these groups are small. And so I keep thinking like, well, what if I don't like any of them? And then I'm thinking, well, think of how many people you didn't like on your old trip. Yeah. Like when there was 40 of you, you basically liked every single person. Like, so it's going to be fine.
Yeah.
Like,
it's kind of like,
I don't know. It's
kind of like a first date and everyone's on their best behavior.
Yes,
because they don't want.
And then suddenly just like slowly unravel.
Everyone gets comfortable. Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Like, I remember like the first days we all met and we drove to Vegas and we had a big night in Vegas and then, you know, the next day. And I remember looking at all those photos and being like, oh, these are like my best friends ever. And then I'm like, I knew them for 24 hours. Like, how do we have such a good friendship? And it's been 24 hours and we have created all these memories that like, I can just be like, oh, that's so classic. And I'm like, I don't even know you. How can I know that's a classic you thing? Like, you know, that was just the best. Like,
yeah, for sure.
It's ridiculous. This whole like euphoric state, you know, like somewhere else.
Yeah, especially especially because I think it is like you're in that new place with new people. You haven't done it before, so it's like let's quickly bond together because this is exciting.
Exactly. It's hard to understand because you don't really do that here or when you're not traveling. Yeah, you know.
In saying that though, I don't know if I would do another one.
Really?
I think because
isn't that funny?
Yeah, because I think I was happy with how that one happened.
Yep.
And like I was honestly really surprised with all the people and the places we met. Like it was completely different than I expected. But at the same time, and it's confusing though, because I feel like I wish I could just like be like, hey, random strangers, someone want to go traveling, and then like find a friend and then just sort of go.
Yeah. But that's why I'm so excited about this Facebook page about all these girls, like because people do, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like
people do that.
So go on, you will find a Facebook page that suits you. You're like, it's just blown my mind. Like, you know, even if someone was traveling here, I could even be like, hey, like, you know, it's here in Melbourne over the next 2 months. Like, I'd love to catch up and show you around. Like, you know, I don't know. Cool. It's really cool. Yeah.
I'll just be like, Facebook group for people who want to hang out but don't talk to each other.
Just sit in like the same room.
Like, smile and like be like, oh cool, hold the camera.
Exactly.
No, but I don't know. I mean, who knows how how we end up traveling in the future?
Yeah,
because like,
so you're not doing a Kentucky at the end of the year.
No, I'm going with mum and dad.
Okay, cool.
And then and then they're coming home, and I'm meeting the girls. And I'm there for I think like 5 days, and then coming home. Yep. Which will be fun.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's really good.
I'm excited.
That's gonna be bloody great.
Yeah, especially because sad because my pa was meant to be coming with so it was meant to be the 4 of us.
Yeah.
But the doctor said he probably wouldn't be very well to travel.
Oh my gosh.
Which sucks.
That really sucks.
Yeah, so he can't come, but
at least like you'll have it in the back of your mind. You'll kind of do things for him.
Yeah, exactly.
That's good.
Yeah, I'll make sure I take lots of pictures and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because it's always, my family's like always traveled.
Yeah.
Like, even like, my
and some people
parents
and like
both grandparents.
Just like their lives. Like some people's family like don't.
Yeah.
And I think, like, if my family never did, like, maybe I wouldn't, you know.
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I had a friend once who went on a Kentucky and they said they, like, liked it, but they just didn't really like traveling.
Bizarre. I just can't fathom it.
Yeah. They just prefer to stay home and stuff. And, I mean, obviously that's what they want to do.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think it's just really interesting. Because I get like really comfy. I'm a homebody.
Yeah.
At the same time, if I could, I would love to travel.
Yeah, exactly. I totally am on that same page. Yeah, I just need to go somewhere like just once a year.
Yeah.
And then I'm back. I'm like, oh, it's great home, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, like.
Yeah. But it's interesting that people are like that, and they're just like, I mean, I suppose it's good that you can realize that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I know, it's really bizarre and interesting.
I don't know.
It's like, what if Jay goes on holiday and he's like, travel's not really my thing. Like, well, you're not really my thing either, so see ya.
So you just have to be like, well, I'm going to be going on
A
these
lot.
weeks. Yeah.
Yeah, so.
This is when I'm going.
So, yeah, it's stressful.
I wouldn't imagine that.
Oh my God. I would have to be like.
Touch wood.
I know, I'm laying on this table like no.
No, I'm sure he'll like
I'd
it.
be so stressed. That'd be the turning point. See you later.
Done.
Oh my God, that'd be a disaster. Stay tuned.
Part 2. Yeah. So Keisha's going traveling on her own.
Her boyfriend said no.
Yeah.
God, that'd be a nightmare. Now I'm gonna dream about that tonight. You wait.
I think we've been recording for a while.
Why are we like this?
I know.
We were meant to go to the drive-ins the other night.
Oh,
and
yeah.
we just started talking and we were like, oh, we can't stop.
Yeah.
So we just the drive-ins and just kept talking.
But that was so much fun.
Yeah, that was actually great.
That was a good catch up.
Usually I hate catching up with you.
I know, like, Jesus, it's that time. It's like that
like,
once every 6
better get this
months
over and
time.
done.
Yeah. Oh no, now you have to leave. No, I think we're finished. But,
That's fair.
Yeah.
Like, really it is.
no, but I do think we might have to wrap it up now. We've
Okay.
had a lot of good conversation. I'm excited to edit this.
Yes.
And also
I'm
kind of
nervous, mate.
frightened.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
No, that's fine. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Keisha, for joining me on
Thank
my
you,
podcast.
Seb.
Is there anything you would like to plug? I know you make jewelry.
Oh, I do?
You can.
I
yeah.
do. Well, please
We'll-
find me. Oh.
I'm so sorry. I was just gonna quickly say.
No, go.
We'll have to do another one because I don't think we really talked about. I mean, we talked about a lot of stuff I wanted to talk about.
Yep.
But I had certain things I kind of want to talk about.
There's a lot
we didn't.
more that we can. I'm
There's a
up
lot
for
more
it.
to be unpacked. So I would love to have you back.
Yes.
Of course.
I would love to be back because I love talking.
Amazing. About myself.
Yes, I love myself.
So yes, if you have something to plug.
Yes, so I make resin jewelry, earrings and key rings at the moment. I will be expanding. So if you love colour and glitter, go onto my Instagram, which is at spoonfulofcolour_. And colour is the Australian way. So COLOUR. You can't forget the U. Otherwise, I don't know what you'll find. And then my website is on that. And I'm also on Facebook, which is Spoonful of Colour in 3 words. So spaces. There's spaces between the words. But yeah, I just love doing that. Just by the way.
That's so exciting.
Yeah.
And
So
do you have do you do requests? Or do you
yeah, I do custom orders and stuff. And so I'm just gonna release a cactus and a pineapple range shortly. And I'm also gonna be doing rings and just anything I can find.
That's so exciting though.
So yeah, but anyone's requests are my favorite because I'm like, okay, let me see what I can do.
That's the best.
So yeah.
So check out at spoonfulofcolour_.
Yes.
And colour with a U
Yeah.
in it as well.
It's very important.
Yes. But
thank you. Yeah.
Well, thank you again. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I look forward to next time.
Thank you guys for listening. Hopefully you've enjoyed this. If you have, leave a like and follow the podcast.
And if you haven't enjoyed it, I don't want to hear it.
Then just I don't want to hear about your negativity.
Yeah, no, thank you.
This is a non-negative space.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, okay, thank
Cool.
you.
Thank you.
I'll talk to you guys soon.
Okay, bye.
Bye. And here we are again at the end of the episode. Oops, I gotta stop moving this microphone around. Anyways, thank you so much again for listening. Thank you, Keisha, for joining me on the podcast. If you didn't hear any of the last part, which I'm sure you did, but I'm gonna repeat it again just in case. Be sure to check out Keisha's jewelry shop called Spoonful of Colour. It's colour with a U. You can check it out on Instagram. She does amazing stuff. keep up with what she's doing. And I really hope you like the podcast. If you liked it, please make sure you leave a like and subscribe if you really liked it, or if you can even be bothered. At the moment, we're just on SoundCloud at the time of recording this, but I'm also hoping to make this available on YouTube and iTunes, so until I figure the rest of that out, thanks again for listening. I hope you have an amazing day, and I'll catch you on the flip side. Bye.